Hey out there, we are back again with some more discussions about fitness. Today's topic is personal training, and we're going to get some firsthand experience and takeaways from Nancy over here. We've been training together for over 3 months now, so we have a good idea, enough information to be able to share with you today. So let's start right off with this first question. When you initially started doing training or thought about doing personal training, what was your expectation of that? What were you looking to obtain?
What I was looking to obtain was, of course, lose some weight. Also, just feel better physically because I was suffering of some back pain and neck pain since I sit down for long periods of time due to my work. And so, and also, I wanted strength and flexibility. That's what I was
Strength and
expecting.
flexibility. Okay, so you had some changes physically in your body that were motivators to you wanting to do the training.
Correct.
The back pain, you said shoulder pain, and then the change in your body composition. Now, what was what did you kind of think it was going to take? You know what I mean? Like, before we go into any activity, many times we do have a preconceived notion prior to going into it of what it's going to require of us in all aspects, dedication, but we have a perspective of it. And that's what I want to find out from you. What was your perspective of what it was going to take going into training?
Well, I knew that I was going to take motivation and also commitment and accountability. I was trying to do it on my own, but I always failed because I was always, I will start and then I will stop, and there was no continuity. There wasn't any accountability, so I didn't feel like doing it. I just wouldn't do it.
Okay.
But so I knew that I needed not only the guidance, but also I needed the accountability, and that way I will feel myself committed to do it. Like, okay, Janelle's expecting of me to do this, and so I cannot say no. I have to do it because someone else is helping me, is pushing me, and that's what I knew that I needed that.
Okay, so then the personal training was going to be was maybe one of the missing pieces. The accountability from the personal training was going to be your motivating factor, or was something that you believe would be a motivating factor. You have to continue. Okay, so then that was what you were going to need and help in order for you to push forward. Now, as you started to continue, as you started to get more into it, maybe a month, a couple of months in, what was your perspective then in comparison to this is what I expected and then this is what I obtained? And let's speak about that only in the area of physical activity. So there's a lot of other things that were affected, but as far as physical activity and what it did physically or what it required physically, contrast that with what your expectations were in the beginning.
Well, at the beginning, like I said, I knew not only I needed the accountability, but also I knew it was going to be hard for me because by then I had realized that I was, I wasn't moving enough, I wasn't exercising enough, I wasn't flexible enough. So yes, it was hard at the beginning in the sense that my body wasn't used to certain movements and exercises and coordinations that were required. But as you were guiding me through it, explaining to me the right position and everything else, it was hard doing it, but the more I did it, the more I noticed that I was gaining strength. And that's the difference that I've seen, not only the strength, but also I started losing some inches. I felt better, more motivated. I remember at the beginning I was feeling, down. Now I was having just, more strength, more energy, and also just I was feeling better. And I know that you wanted to talk more just, the physical part of it. But honestly, emotionally,
We're gonna get to that.
also was
we
helping
gonna get
me.
to that part.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that too. Okay, so you realize physically
Yes.
those changes that were taking place.
Yes.
Did you, as far as the type of exercises that you did you think that those type of exercises would render that response in your body? I remember one time in particular that you kind of spoke to the type of exercises, and that, well, it doesn't seem like it's that some of them don't seem as intense at the moment, like maybe some of the core exercises, but there is a response that your body has. We do a number of exercises that are core exercises that deal with your posture, activating areas that maybe we have forgotten about.
Correct.
And you experience the change in your strength and overall body composition.
Yes.
Largely due to a lot of those exercises. Did you expect, like when you thought, okay, resistance training, and then the routine that you actually had, did you expect those type of results from that? Did you expect that feeling physically?
In a way, yes, because I knew that exercise is just good, and I needed, my body needed it. But I probably didn't expect to feel and see results that quickly. So I knew that eventually the results were coming there. But I was very surprised to see that the exercises that you were putting me to do, for example, the first time doing them, it was hard. I was like, it's supposed to be simple. At least you make it look so simple and so easy. And I'm like, why can't I do them? And I tell you this, very often. But then the next time I was doing it better. And I noticed also that you will tell me, okay, let's do this first. And so that will help me stretch and just, have more flexibility, and then go back to the exercise that we're doing at the beginning that I wasn't able to do. And so I was able to notice, oh, wow, there's a difference by maybe, doing this first, then going back to that. I was able to do it. And so that kept me motivated. And like I said, I knew that I was going to have results just by being consistent and doing the right things and the right exercises. But also the amazing part of it is that I was dreading at the beginning, I was going to be really, really sore. And to the point that probably the next day I wasn't going to be able to move. And that's what I was dreading. And to my surprise, the way you train me, or the way you're doing is, I'm not as sore. Yes, I do work out. Yes, I see more muscle in my body. I feel more strength, but I'm not as sore, and I do feel the strength. So I'm happy with that, because I'm like, okay, so this is not bad, and so I can do this, and I noticed that the stretches, everything that you put me to do does help a lot with that. Plus, my posture has improved a lot. I see myself correcting myself, because sometimes I'm on the computer all day long, and then of course eventually you kind of slouch more and more, and now I automatically correct myself. I'm like, okay, no, this is what I need to do. Yeah. So I try, and I remind myself, I find myself reminding, every time that the posture is very important.
It is. It's an excellent piece of, it's an excellent prevention. A lot of unnecessary onset, and injuries. So yeah, that is important. Now let's talk about some other components of it. What are some things that you learned about, and some things that you are more optimistic in maybe implementing in regards to your nutrition? How does your nutrition affect your nutrition and your rest? How does rest and nutrition affect your workout personally? What are some things you've learned, realized?
I realized that, by keeping motivated, of course, that motivates me to eat healthier. Also, I can see faster results or better results by eating healthier. My digestion is better, I feel better, just physically, even mentally. I feel like, I can, I have more clarity. As far as the sleep, I noticed that that's definitely very important as well. I need to sleep. There's a couple of times where I haven't been, able to sleep well, and then the next day I don't have the same energy to work out. And I told you this, a few days ago. I'm like, I'm so tired, I can't do it. And that's when I realized how important it is to sleep well, to sleep enough. And not oversleep as well, but just to sleep enough where your body can restore or recuperate and recover everything. That's what I want to say. So but also I sleep better. I sleep much better as well, because I'm not waking up tired or sluggish, or I'm not waking up like with soreness. It was weird because before I wasn't exercising and I was still sore. Everything was hurting, and I'm like, I just got up and I feel tired and restless, and now it definitely is much better. I can wake up right away and be ready for the day. It takes me just a couple of minutes to really, get alert and start moving. But before it was a struggle. It was a very real struggle to just get up and just get moving.
Okay. Yeah. So rest is important.
Yes.
So what are some exercises physically, like what are some things that you're capable of doing now that you couldn't do when you started?
Push-ups for sure. That was something that, oh my God.
That's a huge one.
That's a huge one, yes.
That's a huge one. A lot of ladies tell me that I can't do a push-up.
Yes, I'm still working on those, of course. I'm not like a super pro, but definitely I'm very excited to know that I can do more than one. Definitely,
Now, in the beginning, even the modified push-ups, they're not called girl push-ups. They're just modified. Okay, modified push-ups on the table, on a higher surface, or on your knees on the mat. They're modified push-ups, okay, or regular push-ups. Now, in the beginning, we started off with the table push-ups.
Yes.
And those gave you a significant amount of resistance. Those were a challenge, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then we moved to the modified floor push-ups, where you're moving more of your body weight, and you have to learn how to stabilize properly through your core before going into those. So those are more intense, would you say?
Yes.
A little more advanced. So we progressed from the table, then we went to the floor, and what happened recently, just this week? You want to tell about what happened when we were training this week with the push-ups?
Oh yeah. Oh, wait a second. Let me see.
We're right here.
Yeah, we were right here, and I was amazed because everything was progressing. But I could feel how the way you were training me was taking my body to be stronger, just within that session. of training, to the point that I was able to do the regular push-ups, and I'm like, oh.
But let me tell you what she said before we did it. You remember what you said before we did it?
I don't remember.
We're about to do the push-ups, right? Regular ones, not even modified. We're about to do regular ones. She came over to the mat. She turned and looked at me. She said, "Can we just do the ones on the knees?"
That's right.
We're just gonna go ahead and try these. And then what happened?
And I did it.
Yeah, the regular push-ups.
I was very surprised, but impressed, and also happy that I was able to do it. But it like I said, it's just the way that you were helping me to, feel stronger, and just, it wasn't, and that's what I like about it, because we start, in a certain way, where if there's one exercise that I can't not do, then you immediately switch to do, something with my muscles where I can get stronger. Maybe I need to be a little more flexible. Maybe I need, just to kind of like remind my muscles that, hey, you're there and you can work. You can do the work. And then once, you feel like I'm ready, then I can do the exercise that I couldn't do at the beginning. And that really motivates me. That really makes me feel, of course, much better. And also I feel it. I feel stronger. I remember balance. I was very surprised at the beginning how out of balance I was. Some simple exercises I wasn't able to do, and I was feeling so out of balance. With the lunges, for example, and I was like, oh, what a bummer. I can't do this. But also you were encouraging me and explaining to me, that it's a progression. Progressively, I was going to get better and better. And mainly how to do it, the right position. I'm still working on them, but I'm much better, I know, than what it was at the beginning. Also the sit-ups, that was very important, that I was not able to do them. And now I can do 20. So I'm very excited.
And I have to say stop.
Yes, stop.
That's enough.
That's enough, because I'm like, yes, I can do this. So, and that's another thing, it has given me the confidence to say, okay, it's gonna get better. I can do it, and another thing is that I was running out of breath every exercise. Now it's not like that. That makes me feel better. I'm learning how to breathe while I'm exercising, because I noticed that I was stopping breathing, and I think that's very. I was holding my breath, and I think that's very common for a lot of people. That subconsciously you don't even know that you're holding your breath. And I realized that I was doing that, and now I'm not doing it as often. I want to say. So I'm more conscious of that too.
Any other exercises that you can remember?
The V-ups.
The single leg V-ups. What comes to mind for me is the running, and something that you said about the running, that after training for a while, probably maybe a few weeks, you mentioned that when you ran, that you remembered how it used to feel.
Yes.
And so it brought back to remembrance something she used to do, and the benefits that were surrounding that. I remember you saying that. And the cardiovascular conditioning, the physical conditioning, is just one aspect. It affects every area of our bodies and lives. Like you mentioned, your rest and all that, that's physical. The body composition change, that's physical. There's another component of it, and one of the benefits, you said accountability in the training, I believe, is that an individual, because I've worked with individuals who are capable, and there's things that I give you from the beginning that you're capable of doing, but they're not done or implemented. And I believe part of that is because of an understanding, also because of what I would say is a borrowing of somebody else's faith. When you didn't think that you could do the push-ups, I saw an area of opportunity to where you no, there's a great chance there's a significant chance that she can do these, or maybe even see, no, they can definitely do this, and be able to bridge those things together and kind of sealing in the confidence when it's executed.
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning, before doing them, now just talk about that one incident, the look on your face was, Janelle, come on. Do you really think, come on, do you really think I can do this? You see what I'm saying? But when there's the instruction, it's almost like my faith speaking in regards to you doing it,
yes.
Your faith agreeing with that.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we got a production of the outcome.
Yes.
And then the outcome did what after you did it? It was like, oh my goodness, did I just do those push-ups? Yeah. And that is part of one of the things that I really love about it, is that there's the accountability, but when there's the verbal communication throughout it, the explanation of why we're doing it while we're doing it,
mm-hmm.
those two things together just really seal it in place. You know what I mean? How the Bible talks about faith without works.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just you're doing the works, but you have the word from the explanation, which is an understanding, that you get when you hear. But then it's also that execution of what was just instructed,
mm-hmm.
that produces a whole nother level of, I'm going to say power, because it's really electric when you see, oh my God, did I just do that? I thought, and it's like that, it took a couple of seconds to do the push-ups, but I believe that the outcome, what was accomplished from taking that action, is even more powerful. That's what gives you the strength to then show up on the next session. That's what gives you the strength to then try the next exercise. That's what gives you the strength to have more confidence in one of my verbal suggestions. I'm saying, I'm not gonna say commands, one of my verbal suggestions, So that's one of the aspects I believe is so powerful in that, because it is just what the word says. It says when two or more, the Bible talks a lot about agreement and being in agreement. Yeah. And that's one of those things to where God made our bodies not outside of the rest of our lives, but it's part of it. There's a part that the body plays. Like there's nothing we can do without our bodies. And when we're able to get together with someone else, even sometimes how the word talks about how one brother and sister will lift up another, you know what I mean? That's a when you're feeling stronger than I am, then you can speak into my life. When I'm feeling stronger in that moment or in that day, then I can speak there. You take a hold of it, and then we both get pulled up. We both get encouraged. And that's one of the things about training, is that you get the physical benefits, but there's other benefits that come from it. It's that borrowing of the faith. And even times it's vice versa, to where when I'll have a client that shows up and maybe I'm not feeling encouraged for that day, seeing them take steps of faith on what I'm suggesting then ends up encouraging me. You see? So that's never one-sided. And all those components is what we want to present to you and talk to you about, so that there may be a fuller, when you can see that there's 2,000 benefits from something versus 2, you're going to be able to do that thing a lot easier. And when you think about it, say for instance in the beginning, there were exercises that you already knew how to do. However, you said the accountability would help you to execute it. You see what I'm saying? But there were things that you already knew how to do, but it just wasn't executed. Now they're being executed, and then there's a whole nother level of benefit that comes from that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, maybe the other side, other than the physicals, what we're kind of leading into. What were some of the other benefits or the other things that you received when we went through the training? We talked about the physical, now let's talk about some of the other components.
Well, I felt encouraged to begin with. I felt hopeful. My line of job it could be very stressful, and exercising is a way of releasing all of that stress. I feel much better. My mind gets clearer, then I can go back and do the work that I need to do. So that's one way. Mentally, definitely helps a lot. Not only that, but if I was going through periods of depression at times, and now that is gone. It really is. I haven't felt down or depressed or anything like that at all, so that's great. But aside from that is it makes me expect, there's an expectation of getting better, getting more. I can see myself doing more, getting stronger. I can see that I'm advancing. I'm moving forward as I get stronger, as I lose a little, some weight, and I can do the exercises and all of that. It definitely, has changed my perspective. Not only about exercising, but also about my body, that I need to take care of this temple of God, because it is the temple of God. But also, God gave me this body for a purpose, so I need to nourish it with, a healthy food. So I'm thinking about it because it is connected. The way, I know you have talked about this before, and it's so true. The way we eat is very well connected to the way we feel. If we feel stressed out and we don't have a way of channel that stress out of our minds and bodies, then we try to do it in another way, satisfy it in another way, that relief, or whatever you want to call it, you want to satisfy it another way, and sometimes it could be with eating the wrong foods. And so it encouraged me to just eat healthy, to pay attention to what I'm eating, and also to pay attention to how I'm feeling, and try to submit that under the authority of knowing not only the word, but knowing that I do have the authority to talk to my body and say, okay, no, I'm gonna eat healthy this time. Like you were saying, replacing one unhealthy food for a healthy one. And so I'm learning all of that. But I feel encouraged. I mean, it's not 100% master yet, but I definitely feel encouraged about it.
Okay, so what you're saying is there's a shift in perspective, which is really huge when it comes to being able to change a habit. It isn't, sometimes I'll experience, and I'll say with training or clients, that one person will come and say, well, just give me a plan and I'm just going to do the plan. Almost as if to say that, I'm just going to kind of give me the plan, I'm going to close my eyes and just, bowl through it. But when you do that, what happens is you miss yourself. You miss seeing yourself. You miss seeing not only the moments that take place throughout it, but you miss those moments, because it's within those moments that you're able to see yourself and build confidence in being able to execute it the next time. It's those moments of seeing yourself and seeing what takes place inside and outside of the training in your entire life that enables you to be able to have hope, as Nancy spoke of being more hopeful, more optimistic to try it. And that's what fuels positive, beneficial actions, is having that hope. So if it's just like, just show me 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to follow 1, 2, 3, and then I'm just going to go through it. Well, for one, that's not the case, because if that was the case, you would have done it already. It's easy to find a 1, 2, 3 plan online, or maybe just even go by the standard, basic food chart and find some things that will make a significant difference. But there's other components in with it, being able to have and see that and learn that perspective. What you learn along the way is what enables for you to build the value in it, so that you can continue, to do it and after that. So it's not the the 1, 2, 3 steps or that sort of thing, but it is really the perspective shifts that takes place. So your perspective of training, your perspective of yourself starting, and then that transition, it takes you, as you're going through it, it changes your perspective of it. Therefore, your outcome is different.
Yes.
We can take nutrition, we can take food, for example. If my perspective of a particular food, so for instance, words are really important. We're talking about that. The words I speak, you taking a hold of it and agreeing and taking action on it, then building more hope and faith from there. When those words in relation to, or what you think in relation to food, makes a big difference too. If I see water as being a negative, for whatever reason, through maybe a past experience or maybe something somebody said, or maybe just whatever, if I see it as a negative, it's difficult for me to drink it. If I for some reason think that water is poison, then how am I going to get a chance to drink water that I actually need? And I find that that's one of the most significant components in being able to change it, is that when you're going through the training, or when you're taking time out to see yourself, which is what takes place when you're training, then you're able to learn what to do the next time. If I learn that, oh my goodness, the reason why I don't want to do this is because I see it as being a negative, then I can then do what you said, take the word of God, and I can use that to change my mind. Therefore, my response to it is going to be different. It's over 80% of individuals that lose weight, they gain it back. And it's because the perspective has not changed. See, if I start seeing sugar for what it is, I'm not going to crave it. You see what I'm saying? My mind is going to change. And then from there, my actions are going to change. And as my actions change, the physical response in my body is going to start saying, no, I don't want that, but I want this instead, So it's the perspective that you have the opportunity to change along the way that's going to enable for you to be able to maintain. But if your perspective never changes, you'll just strangle yourself from the foods that you love, that you think are good. You'll do it for a couple of months, lose a few pounds, get a few compliments, and then there you go, take the vacation and just throw all the junk back in there, and you'll find yourself in a deeper place than when you started. Why? Because you never said and understood, this thing is really detrimental, it isn't helping me. I'm just going to change it so I can get this one response. So you only saw one value in all of that you put into it. You're not going to do it again, or you're not going to continue it. Why? Because there's only one value in it. So when we slow down long enough, whether it's with the trainer or whatever, when we slow down long enough to actually see ourselves, to learn about ourselves and why we're doing the things that we're doing, and then say, okay, to changing that perspective with the words that we feed ourselves, the things that we say about ourselves, the things that we think about ourselves, then we can have lasting results. We can have lasting results in our health, and then that just stems into every other area of our lives. So we'll close on that note. We just want to thank you for joining us today on this, and we'll definitely be back with some more Fit Talks. Just to finish off, are there any other things that you thought of that you wanted to mention?
Well, one of the things is that I think many people that want to change, they want to change quickly and easy, but we got to do the work. But it's step by step. There are days that I really don't want to work out, but I know that Janelle is waiting for me. And so I go, and maybe the first 30 seconds of it, I don't feel like working out, but as I get into it, I feel better, I feel more motivated. And another thing is this, that trying to do the exercise the right way makes me take my focus out of everything else that has been going on throughout the day. And just focus on exactly what I need to do, which is, for example, if I'm doing lunches, if I'm doing V-ups, whatever the case may be, I know that I need to focus my attention to that because, I'm trying to actually do the exercise. And what happens is that somehow, some way, not only I'm getting the benefit of it, I'm getting to know my body more, but also it takes me away from all that
the potential stressors.
all the stressors, all maybe I didn't have a very good day, could be at work, at home, whatever the case may be, just being able to have that time for me, it helps me.
Gives you a mental break. Yeah.
Yes, it gives me a mental break, but not only that, but also it makes me feel better because I know that I'm taking care of myself as well. Many times we take care of everybody else, but not ourselves. And, eventually something is it's gotta give, something has to, I mean, it's either your mental health, your physical health, or everything, everything about you. And so by taking that time, it definitely, it helps you because by taking care of yourself first, you're gonna be able to take care of the rest, the people that you love and that are around you. So that's all I gotta say.
Absolutely. So we'll see you next time.